What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Got some bad news, or some potential bad news. Billy Joe Saunders' father, Tom Saunders, is now saying the fight is off between his son and WBA and WBC super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez, who sits atop of many people's pound-for-pound lists. Not mine, but a lot of people pound-for-pound list has him number one. I still have Terrence Bud Crawford as my number one fighter on my pound-for-pound list, but that's neither here nor there right now. The fight, according to Billy Joe Saunders' father, is off. He did an interview with IFL TV along with Billy Joe Saunders' manager, Tom Watts, and he says that the issue is the ring size. He says Canelo first asked for an 18-foot ring size. Tom Saunders said that's an amateur ring. And then he asked, after that, he said, okay, if I can't get the 18-foot ring size, I will settle for a 20-foot ring size. That's called negotiations one-on-one. He wanted a 20-foot size ring all along, but he negotiated and said originally that he wanted an 18-foot ring size. Just for to think he was going to pull the wool over Team Saunders' eyes and say, okay, we don't want no 18-foot ring size. That's too small. He said, okay, I'll go up to a 20-foot. I'll compromise, even though 20-foot was his original size that he was wanting to do all along, knowing that in his mind that Team Saunders was going to refuse an 18-foot size ring. And he was going to settle in on a 20-foot size ring. He knows that Billy Joe Saunders is a guy that's a mover, a guy that's a slick boxer, a guy that's a southpaw, a guy that has a good jab, knows how to control distance, great footwork, great timing, great combination puncher, and a great defensive fighter. So he wants to cut the ring off and go to the body and take Billy Joe Saunders' legs away for later on in that fight and possibly get a stoppage in the second half of that fight. As we know, ever since the Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight, Canelo Alvarez has now fought a lot of guys that are slick fighters. He's fought some. I know people gonna say, wait a minute, JBsports, he's fought some guys since Floyd Mayweather Jr. Yeah, he's fought some, but the majority of his fighters that he's fought are guys that are standstill fighters, guys that are flat-footed fighters, guys that are not technically gifted, guys that are not slick fighters. Outside of Austin Trouts and Edgerlon Lara, he hasn't fought a lot of technical slick fighters. Now, a lot of people are gonna say, wait a minute, what about Daniel Jacobs? Yeah, Daniel Jacobs is not a slick fighter. That's a misconception about him. A lot of people think, oh, just because he's a guy that has decent hand speed and he's a black fighter, you think he's a slick fighter. He's not a slick fighter. He's an offensive, aggressive type of fighter. You look at all Daniel Jacobs fight, he's a guy that's a seek and destroy type of fighter. He's looking for knockout. He's looking to set up his power shots. He's looking to set up 2-3 punch combinations and punches that's going to do a lots of damage. He's not a guy that's, working off the jab and doing everything off the jab and trying to control distance. He can do that. He's shown he can do that, but his mentality is a seek and destroy fighter. He's not a fighter that fights the same as Edgerlon Lara or even Austin Trout to that degree. He don't fight like that. Never have, never did that. He's an aggressive style of type of fighter. That's why he was knocked out in surprising fashion when he fought that guy Gerard. He got caught. If he was fought a little bit more of a disciplined fight, a little bit more of a defensive minded fight, he wouldn't have got caught early. He got caught early in that fight. And he got dropped by Sergio Morio, who's not known as a power puncher. That's because he's an aggressive style of fighter. He's not a guy that's looking to fight off the back foot. So miss me with that. Daniel Jacobs was a slick fighter that he fought. That's not the case. He's fought Austin Trout and Edgerlon Lara. Now, Tom Saunders said that they're willing to, really wanted a 24-foot ring. They're willing to set on a 22-foot ring. They wanted 24 feet. They originally, that's the original ring size. They said that the ring size has not been negotiated previously in the contract, so it's still up for negotiations, according to Tom Saunders. And they want a 22-foot ring size after originally asking for a 24-foot. So Canelo asked for an 18-foot. Team Saunders wanted a 24-foot. Team Saunders willing to come down from a 24 to 22. Team Saunders also said that Canelo Alvarez know good and damn well he wasn't going to get no 18-foot ring size, because that's a ring size that they don't even fight in professional. That's an amateur ring size. He was just playing a cat and mouse game, and he basically was going to say 18-foot all along, knowing that he was going to settle in on a 20-foot ring size. And Billy Joe Saunders don't want to play ball. They say, look, we've given you every advantage. We give you every advantage. Gloves, we give you every advantage. You know, the 70,000 fans in attendance, you probably getting some of that revenue. I'm not getting any of that revenue. After I was negotiating with Eddie Hearn, he told me there was going to be a small crowd in attendance, if any crowd at all, for this fight. Now they're doing 70,000 fans that's going to pack the house. So that's money that's going into a lot of people's pockets, but it's not going in my pocket. Okay, the gloves I've given in on. He said he don't like a lot of other things that's going on in this for this fight. The judging. He wanted one English judge out of the 3 judges that were going to be judging this fight. He said Eddie Hearn, seemed to it was pretty like this. Billy Joe Saunders seemed to think that Eddie Hearn was going to get him an English judge, and that's not the case. It's going to be 2 U.S. judges. So you got to understand that every boxing commission is different. This is not the Nevada Boxing Commission. This is the Texas Boxing Commission, and their rules and regulations are different than Nevada Boxing Commission or even the New York State Boxing Commission. It's different, and they want one English judge, one Mexican judge, and one U.S. judge. That's the judges that Billy Joe Saunders wanted. Eddie Hearn said that his hands were tied, that the Texas Boxing Commission don't allow English judges. They want all American judges, and therefore Billy Joe Saunders was sitting there upset about that. So this is like the straw that broke the camel's back. He's saying, look, I'm already behind the 8 ball on the judging, the gloves. I even think he even complained about the hand wrapping, how that's going to go. There's a lot of stuff that he's not happy about, but the main thing is the judging. And the main thing is what he negotiated the fight with originally was supposed to be a fight that was going to have a limited crowd capacity. Now you're going to have 70,000 fans in attendance, and his purse should be more than what he originally negotiated on the premises that it was going to be a small gathering of fans at this fight. And now it's going to be one of the biggest crowds to witness a boxing event in the history of boxing, and he's upset about that. So Eddie Hearn has got a lot of fires to put out. You got the AJ Fury fiasco that should have been finalized weeks ago, and here we going on another week where the fight has not been finalized. I told you guys in a previous video that both parties need to move on and revisit that fight at the end of 2021 when this pandemic is more under control, and you'll be able to have a larger crowd gathering, and you'll be able to get the Saudis to put together a concrete plan and a concrete site fee of $150 million. Because there ain't no way in hell you're going to get no $150 million site fee deal right now with this pandemic going on. So miss me with that $155 million site fee that got leaked to, who was it, Michael Coppinger? Michael Benson, one of those boxing writers. It got leaked to him. Miss me with that, because that's not the case. Not right now. It ain't. Maybe at the end of 2021, you'll be able to get that type of deal, but not right now. So both guys need to move on. Billy Joe Saunders seems to be a guy that's willing to stand his ground on this situation. He says he's giving in to every demand that Canelo has put up on his plate, and now he's asking just for a fair fight. And he said, hey, Canelo don't want a fair fight. Canelo want to have every advantage. He want to make sure that Billy Joe Saunders ain't gonna have nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. So he wants a real small ring where he can be able to easily cut the ring off and easily be able to get inside and work the body of Billy Joe Saunders, to take away his legs and take away his movement, which is a type of fight that will give Canelo Alvarez problems. You look at Sergey Kovalev, who wasn't even really moving that well, who had came off a tough, rugged fight with Anthony Yarde. He was controlling that fight with the jab, and controlling distance. Now just think what a Billy Joe Saunders will be able to do, a guy that's more fresher now than Sergey Kovalev was when he fought Canelo Alvarez. Just think what he'll be able to do. He doesn't have the height of a Kovalev, but he definitely has one of the better jabs in the super middleweight division. He'll be able to shoot that jab out, jab, and control distance and move around and stuff like that. He'll be able to win some rounds with Canelo Alvarez. That might be the reason why Canelo Alvarez wants a smaller ring. Canelo Alvarez is a guy that's wants every advantage. He say he's improved since the Floyd Mayweather fight. Well, show us you improved since the Floyd Mayweather fight. Fight in the 22-foot ring. You got every other advantage. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that a guy's got to probably dominate you for at least 8 rounds just to have a chance to win a decision in the fight. So they basically behind the 8 ball from round 1 on. And you got that built-in advantage. You're fighting in Dallas, Texas, which basically is going to be a home field advantage for you. You can say, oh, I'm from Mexico and he's from England. We're fighting in the United States. What are you talking about home field advantage? Yeah, when the last time you fought in Mexico? You've been fighting in the United States for a while. You've got all the close decision wins in the United States. Edgerlana Lara, that was in the United States. Austin Trout, that was in the United States. Both Triple G fights. I thought you lost the first fight, and the second fight, I had it a draw. But if I had to give it to somebody, I would have gave the edge to you. But you got a good decision in both of those fights. You got a draw in the first fight, which you didn't deserve, and then you got a unanimous decision, I think, in the second fight. And that should have been a fight that was either a draw or at least a split decision. I wouldn't have been. That fight was so close. I should have assumed that one judge would have had Triple G win in the second fight. At least one of the three judges. That's how close that fight was. You won that fight. Okay, so it is what it is. It is what it is. But Canelo Alvarez needs to show that he's a true champion, a true warrior, accept the 22-foot ring, go in there, take care of business. You got the advantage of being more active than Billy Joe Saunders. He hasn't fought the competition as you fought. Go in there and prove that you are the number one pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. And quit trying to use everything to your advantage. And then when people complain about it, you try to say they're just crying, acting all like a pussy, basically. Quit doing that. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts about Billy Joe Saunders holding his ground and saying, nah, I'm not finna fight you in a 20-foot ring. It's not gonna be fair. I'm a move. I need to be able to move, stick and move and stuff like that, and that's gonna be impossible to do in a 20-foot ring. Let me know your thoughts about Canelo Alvarez, again, putting another fighter behind the 8-ball and trying to seek and take advantage of every situation and every circumstance involved in his particular fight. Let me know your thoughts and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and I'll holler.